All right. All right, let's see the chat. Oh, no, not first, Bobby. I think you got beat there. Yeah, I figured we'd do one during the day while I had time to do this and catch the other crowd I normally don't get to catch when I'm doing the evening streams, since it's a little later, too late for everybody in the UK and whatnot. So we'll let everybody join here. I don't have any the cool music animations or anything to start and wait for everybody to join. So what's up, Mike? So is it really just Mike, or is it that's how you have it labeled, Mike? So you can come do my chores, Dale. Oh, okay. Yep. All right. Mike 2 and L. Okay. I get that. I get the name now. I've always wondered when I saw that before. So, Mike squared, right? So, in full closure of the previous ones, we did those that didn't mean to be 3 streams at once. Well, I guess 3 streams, 2-3 days in a row. With that Treat Life 2-year dimmer, I did finally get around to doing the pull request to bring in that 10-second heartbeat. And I saw that Theo committed it 2 days ago. So it's in the development version. So I know some people were looking for that, and that makes the red LED. If you didn't see the other streams, that's where we tore apart the whole dimmer and had to reverse engineer it with the stock firmware, and we found that the red LED was not needed the heartbeat packet every 10 seconds. So that was kind of like full closure on that one. So today I only had a couple different topics to do. I don't know if there was one with I was working with. We'll find the board at. Hang on 1 second here. I'll pull the board up here. Star Wars marathon, huh? Someone was actually talking about that the other day. It's like, no, I have all the disc and everything and Blu-rays and for Star Wars, but still will watch it with commercials. That just seems weird to me, but so let's see. What's up, Jim? So let me fix my focus on this camera here. So we talked about this before, but I got one in finally from the guy. This cool little board here, and I gotta fix the focus again. And sorry for the shake there. Now, let me fix the camera so we don't get a big glare on it. So you're probably saying, what the heck is that thing, right? Well, of course, it's a ESP32 on top of it. And I've showed I currently have the 2-channel. Yeah, it's power monitoring. I had the 2-channel one installed right now. And I popped the ESP32 off of it because I know we've always seen it. We've seen ESP32s. So what it is, there's 2 Atmel chips that are on here. The ATM E9032, if I'm thinking it correctly. There's two of them, and they're 3 channels each. And so his previous model that he has out there right now, it's a more designed for the U.S., where it's just where we have just split phase typically in the home. So I'd been talking with him, and he was actually developed this one. I was wanting just a 3, to do three different phases that would cover a lot of folks, but especially in the U.S. folks, you could cover like 2 phases and then another phase just for the dryer. Go, buddy. What's up, buddy?
I need to have a sip of my drink. It's Dr. Pepper.
Okay, thank you. All right, you can go back in there, bud. Thanks. Sorry about that. Close the door. Hey, Owen, close the door.
Okay.
Get the little ones helping. That's the fun of the daytime streams. So I'm sure he'll be happy to be on later. We'll do like the doc thing and say bye. But this one has, like I said, the 2 chips. So you're going to get 6 channels. And his was a prototype style. He was telling me that he said the only thing he did was move the mounting holes. So this will be in production. I don't know the price on it. The previous price he did was, let's see. I want to say, I'll bring it over there, sir. Well, he's got different prices based on what you order with it. Let's see, split phase. Sir, I want to say it was like $40 is what he was showing. Let's see, sir. Yeah, it was this one here. We showed it I showed it in one live stream before, and so it's kind of the same same basis, except this one's going to be a 6 channel, and then also it has the spot for the ESP32 to go directly on board. So. Yeah, Jim, it looks like it was 40, and then that doesn't come, like, he's got options, like if you want to include 200 amp split core CTs, or you want the jacks, or you want it pre flashed, etc. I think his firmware uses the regular EMON EU version. I don't know if does he have an EU version, Mike? I'm not sure. I've seen, this isn't the only one on there, of course. And it on the other side of things, and I know everybody's probably seen these before, is it does use just the regular little split core like we've shown before, in whatever size you want to get. And there is on the back, if you like this one has. If you see, this one has it's 1 volt out instead of the milliamp out. Then if you have the 1 volt out, there's some burden resistors you have to sever on the back, and I can show that when I did one on the back. And on this one he did me because I had some with the plugs already cut off. So he did it kind of cool where you can do the regular, 3.5 millimeter jacks, or you can use the screw terminals if you cut the plugs off or not. So, but what I'm trying to do, I'm working with LuckyStyle, his name on Discord. He actually, after we'll get to in a second, with all things power monitoring, he did that dryer one, actually did an ESPHome. And so he's got some skills of doing custom components in ESPHome, and I was asking for his hand in help of trying to get this board working with the ESP32 straight on here, and we can just do it in ESPHome. And so that way it makes it easy for everybody to do with Home Assistant. So, so on the back of it, I can show on here. So I did get a, let's see. Make this a little bigger here. So I did get my little microscope working, so which is kind of cool. It's just a little cheap little 640 by 480 little microscope if you want to be able to see up close on things. We'll back this one off. I think someone had recommended it on Discord, and I thought it was a cool little price, but sometimes it's hard to read on it, but you can see there's the chip they're using on it, the Atmel M90E32AS, and there's 2 of those on there. But it actually really helped out on the back. You have to do, and I'll try to focus this thing. You have to sever the burden resistors. And see, you just sever that little, you'll see one that's not severed. See how this one's together, the JP2? And the burden resistors, you'll need those if your CT says it's milliamp outputs. The ones that don't have, that have the voltage, you have to sever them like I did here on JP1. So he did kind of a cool little setup on things on the board. So a couple of things. I don't know what this is. We kind of doing a melting pot of a live stream here. So I don't know what y'all wanted to. If y'all had any, if y'all wanted to, we can do that. Check out that the dryer DIY one I did. If you remember this one. Or we did the CT clamp split core, and we can do it with ESPHome. We can mess with that code. I haven't flashed it. I saw he sent to me a couple weeks ago, and I hadn't flashed it yet. And then I guess one thing we can get this out the way. We can just jump to that, right? Let me pull this up here a little bit. I know the big thing has been all the Wise cams and everything, and I did those Rio links that I've had. I showed them on one live stream, but I saw they actually Escam, they did send me another one of they sent one of their cameras to me, and I noticed on the price today was. Before it was not showing available, and it was showing as pretty cheap. And let's see where it was at. Too many windows open. Let me turn this microscope off. So they had it pretty cheap for today. And I don't know if that's just a today price or anything. It's not a PoE camera. It's a Wi-Fi camera. It does have RTSP on it. I played with the app a little bit on it. And it does have a decent little web interface, except you do have to use Internet Explorer with it. But it does have RTSP on it. And I did use, you can use some little PoE adapters. Let's see. I did use some little PoE adapters on the camera itself. Just the little PoE splitters where you plug in, and then you plug that into the camera, and then you plug that into the power. And these are 12 volt, and the camera's only needs 12 volt 1 amp, and so these were 12 volt 1 amp, the little PoE splitters. But for the camera itself, which I thought was kind of weird, it's got multiple, which I don't want to light it up here, but you can see it. They got two different types of LEDs on it. You've got your IR LEDs, and they have white LEDs. So if you wanted to actually light up an area, you could. But it was controlled through the app, and then they had it on the web interface. It was kind of weird. And then it does have spot for an SD card, and it's two-way. But with two-way audio, I'm not interested in really probably using on the apps like most people. We're just normally using RTSP. So, but I thought that was kind of a cool little camera, especially for the price. The only downside is, of course, no PoE. So, so for power monitoring, we'll jump back to that. So, what's your question, Mike? What you got? So I know on this one that is using SPI, and we're going to have to use SPI with it. And there's two different pins. He doesn't have the. Oh yeah, if you got a link, go ahead and post it. I may have to hit approve or something like that. Let me get closer to this thing here. And we'll fix the zoom on this. So it does have two different CS pins. You can see CS1. I'll use this little bread tie here. You have CS1, and then there's CS2. And that does, I did check out which GPIO pins it does go to on the ESP32. And I did, about as far as I got messing with it yesterday, was just flashing the ESPHome to it and configuring SPI, and I started working on the component, and then I had other things I had to do. So I hadn't had time to mess with it yet. With actually talking to the Atmel chips. Yeah, the sensors are, yeah, those SCT013. And of course, there's tons of different sizes of these things. Of course, I've got these two here that I have are this one's a 30 amp and the other one's a 50 amp. And the ones I have installed on my breaker box that actually feeds. Let's see if I can bring that up here. I should have it on my. I don't have my development going. Let's get production going. Let me get it where you guys can see it here. Yeah, so this is what it feeds right here. And so I've got two of the 100 amp on the 2-channel board, and feeding for whole home power monitoring and show the two different phases in the home right now. And this is just total watts. And there's some other sensors to it, but I ended up pulling them off. This is actually the temperature of the chip itself. And I think there was, there's total volts and there's amp. I think I narrowed it down to some of the stuff I needed, just watts and amps. And there's different calibrations. And I will say that Atmel chip is pretty accurate, because I was able to hold it was like a 10 watt LED bulb with a 100 amp clamp, and it was actually able to pick up that, and I calibrated actually with it on just messing around with it. I did put a bigger load on it to actually calibrate. So so looking at least we can do the code that LuckyStyle sent, and he's probably not here, in here. And I can send a link to this. All right, Mike sent me. Yeah, that's one model of it. You can find a ton of them. Well, if I can get my thing back. Yeah, I know that one says unavailable right now, but there's a ton of them out there, and like you can even find them off of AliExpress. It hasn't been ready to run either. Yeah, that's Desert Garden. That definitely run. Try to run cabling to my wire cameras when I can. Yeah, the ones that say 50 milliamps or they got a milliamp rating, those will need the burden resistor on there. So he does in the board. He does include the burden resistor on the board, and it's by default. It is using the burden resistor. But if you're going to use a smaller one, like typically like these 50 amps and the 30 amp ones, they only have in there actually say voltage. They'll say like 1 volt DC or something like that. You won't need the burden resistor with those because the burden resistor is actually in the clamp itself. So. Close this window. I got too many windows open. So in his current sensor, I thought it was kind of cool what he did. And we haven't tried it yet. We can try that here if y'all want to do that. This was that project I did with the help of Jim, which Jim is here, doing the little DIY project for electric dryers because not everybody has, of course, gas dryers, and being able to do your notifications on your laundry. So without having to do it in Arduino and flash a little custom code to it, like I did, showed in the video, you can actually take this sketch for ESPHome and throw it straight into and flash it to showing the D1 Mini on here. But of course, you could change the board, of course, in ESPHome. So if you guys wanted, we can try that out and see how that works in ESPHome. So what we can do is we'll throw this one in here. I do have it. Close this one. All right, so I think I want to use 40. I have to assign, because I have them on different subnets, I have to assign static IPs to mine. And we're going to pull another configuration and we'll paste his in my folder. So we'll go to downloads. I should have had this prepared, right? why not do it live and just show how the struggles of everything. All right, so we should be able to refresh this. And there's the dryer current. I may have to shrink the screen here to get it to show right. All right. So let me drop the link to you guys. What's up, Dale? What we're looking at, if y'all want to pull it up on your side. All right, so I know you're probably like, well, use the secrets file. I ain't messed around with using the secrets file yet on ESPHome. So we're gonna use some throwaway SSIDs. And let's see. Let's see. And MQTT stuff, because I don't use typically the API with it. But I guess we could, I guess. Well, so we'll leave the API with it, right? See how it works out. And I need some IP address stuff out of another config. Under the Wi-Fi. We use 46. Anything else we need to change in here? I don't think he had anything else in here that was... We'll save it. And then he did have the component we had to throw in the ESPHome folder off of his code. There was the current sensor.h, which makes the sensors and everything, and does have some of the calibrations, I believe, in there. We'll give it a shot and see if it compiles. All right. And then ESP dashboard. Let's see if it validates. Awesome. I'm just seeing what it built and everything, and we'll see how it works out. All right. I can't do upload because I have to go plug it in the server and everything. So we're just going to do compile. And let me grab a USB cable. And we will plug this thing in. Plug in this other thing here. And if I get it plugged in the screen. Why is this cord not plugging in? There it goes. All right, download the binary. And we'll plug them in. Let's put the camera on. flash the binary to it. Still has my previous sketch on there, but we'll nuke it here in a second. This is what I've been using for flash and stuff lately. I've had some issues with trying to get with that one off of ESP Easy. So I've been using this one, the Node MCU Pi Flasher. And it works pretty well. So let's see. Dry current. And I'll do D out and let's say wipe all data and we'll leave it at 115, 200 and we'll flash. So I haven't done one with the API in a while, so we'll see how that works. I need to turn up my container that has development. I had that shut off on Home Assistant. All right. Let's see if she comes up. I may have to do a reset. Saw a light, that may be a good thing. Trying to see if there we are. All right. We gotta go do the API. Haven't done this in a while here, so let's see. Configuration, integrations, in ESPHome. I used 10.10.146, I think it was. Yeah, 10.10.146. All right. Okay. Finish. Very cool. 0.56. He's got it show. Oh, okay, so he's got the sensor already showing too, where it shows the idle. I think one of these has that based off of the number, I believe. There's a signal, and then the status just showing the build. It's kind of like what I had. So, very cool. So let's put a draw on it. I've got, let me plug in something here. We got a soldering iron we can use, right? So give me a second, let me plug this thing in here. And soldering iron. Well, which one is the soldering iron? Find my plugs here, folks. Too many wires. There we go. All right. So when you're doing the clamp, of course, you just want to be on just one wire. You don't want to have the common included in as well. So we're just going over the hot there. So let's see what we did to the current. So it shows a drop in it on the current. I wonder if it, Definitely interesting on the current. Should probably have a bigger, it's just 0.39. It looks like everything's still, oh, guess that would help, right? I'll show you what I just saw. Is the red wire came out of the terminals. Let me grab a screwdriver. That's why it's showing it's disconnected from the API over and over at the logs. Yeah, I think the direction is only going to matter with DC as well. If you're trying to measure DC, but of course we're not measuring DC here. All right. So let's see what value we got now. Why it keeps dropping the API? That's weird. I don't use the API too much. So there's the 0.66. Well, let's go change it. It's like it's showing it's dropping. That's weird. No, it shows it's in the I don't know if it's a serial thing or something. You try to, we'll do that. Let's put it on a different power source. Go turn that one on. I'm not going to holler out at Google and turn it on. That would, y'all would kill me. Let's see if it comes back up. Yeah. Let's see if it doesn't go away. Well, there is no Wi-Fi manager though in ESPHome. We should be able to look at it on the logs with termite, right? Let me plug it back into the computer here. My other ones aren't going away, but those are over MQTT. Let's see, let me bring up termite. We'll see what it's doing here. I probably can't see it. Okay, it's connecting. Yeah, but just why is it dropping the, we're looking at it, why is it dropping the API? Yeah, the iron did heat up, so it's one of those, if I'm saying it right, the Hacko, H-A-K, H-A-K-K-O or H-A-K-O, it heats up pretty quickly. Let's see if we can turn it off. The current should drop. See, it's not dropping the API again. Ah, there we go. I wonder if I just had to do something with the power or something on it. I don't know. Just reset, like you say, we flashed it and reset it. Let's see if it should show us another log here in a second. Yeah, see, I have the quite opposite. If I don't have my static IPs, I have issues. Because I run, my stuff runs on different subnets. So, and actually I have to go in and turn on the ping option and run an option to include the IP utils of the container to get ping to work. Otherwise, I don't get all the little green and red dots on the different devices I have. So let's turn the iron back on and see. It probably shouldn't do anything until we get a different, it should pull different data. That's weird. It is showing though in Home Assistant. You can see the iron heated back up, and it should drop back down here in a second. Yeah, and there it is. So it does work. I'm just having some issues with the API for some reason. Let's see, is it still, let's see, look, it went offline again. What's termite show? But see, it's showing correct on termite. Yeah, so you can see it reading correct on termite. So there was the 0.99, 0.76, and it's probably just in main, it's already heated up and it's in maintaining. You can see it's at 0.40. So let's do this. We will do save, close, and we validated, yep. And we'll compile. What's up, Pyro? We're playing around with ESPHome and the dryer. project that I did a while back. While that pulls up, we'll get out of this. All right. We'll download the binary again. Yeah, see, it shows offline again. Let's reflash it with MQTT, tried and true. Drive in, D out, yes, and flash. Yep, definitely. But see, you can't, you got to show it live and just show how everything isn't always perfect. So, I know some people look at the videos and they're like, man, it made it look so easy and everything, and I have these issues, and so it would definitely, even the ones that have been doing things for a while have issues as well. So. All right, let's see if she came up. I'll probably have to reset. We'll see what happens. There we go. You should see the sensor show. There we go. And it should pop up in, if I look in unused entities. Do we have the dryer? There it is right there. Dryer current. There's that one. And that one's because I have auto discovery turned on in this development copy of Home Assistant. So I'm not sure. Why is it was it dropping and thing? I'll be honest. Well, I don't use the API too much. I normally use the MQTT because I kind of have a different, I know I've touched on this before. I have kind of a little different design on the way I do my Home Assistant and everything. It's MQTT is at the core of things with, if you kind of had to picture it, MQTT's in the middle, and then you got Home Assistant to the side, and then you got Node-RED to the side, and everything kind of talks through there because, I use sometimes ESPHome, I use Tasmodo, I sometimes use custom little Arduino sketches. So everything kind of revolves around MQTT. So not that there's anything bad with the API. I know Odo's put a lot of work into it and everything, and it does work well for when it, apparently not for me at this point. But, I just use MQTT, so that's what I would use here anyway. So, so this is showing the current, and it's kind of designed the same way. I don't know if you can see on the camera. Is every time it pulls the sensor. You can see that it blinks the LED. So he mocked it up straight exactly how I had it in the little custom sketch, and he's probably doing a check, and it doesn't send over the sensor value unless it's a certain there's a certain delta change in the amount of electrical. I do have that iron on. We can turn it off. It should drop down to pretty much nothing. So it doesn't do voltage. It just, so you're not going to be able, now if you wanted to do sensor and you say, hey, I want to do 120 or 220, And then yeah, so um, so yeah, well, that's just a I mean, I'll link that the video I did a while back on that. So really, if you wanted to, you could follow the very first part of that video. I'm gonna link it here in a second. So you wanted to follow the very first part of it, and all it is it's a Wem. You don't have to use the Wemos D1. You can use I've used you can use the Node MCU. You can use the you could use a Node MCU. You can actually there's a smaller one in the baby Node MCU. And all it is the ESP8265, and it has the same pinouts and everything. No, yeah, exactly. Desert Garden Pepper. That you don't want to use. That's just what I have here. When I've calibrated, Mike squared is right on it. Actually, when I've calibrated before, I've calibrated using a Sonoff S31. So, but you can use a Wemos D1 Mini, but it's actually only 2 resistors. Let me see. We'll go to repositories, and so the layout's pretty simple. This makes it easier to see. So all it is one. It's kind of I've slid the. There's actually these preformed jumper wires, and I showed that in the video of how I did it. Kind of very detailed on how it's done. And there's the 2 terminals at the top, and then there's 2 resistors, and then you have a capacitor to help smooth things out, and then it uses the EMONlib library, which is kind of cool. They're able to use it as a custom sensor. And then I just put it on a small little proto board, and you can actually put them in whatever little cases you want. So it makes it very small, and you put that clamp. And Jim, thanks to Jim, I didn't have an electric dryer to use, so Jim helped me out on that one, and he took some pictures of him installing one electric dryer, and so it worked out pretty well. And you put the little clamp around just one leg of the dryer on, I don't know what they're using, what library average type. The library uses is that EMONlib. But make sure and put it around the one leg that actually also has the fan, the fan and the blower, and the motor turns the drum. So, because otherwise you'll get the spikes up and down, and you won't get that constant flow of the dryer running. Yeah, the EMONlib. If you look in the code, I'll turn it to the web. Here's the EMON. It's the EMONlib, and EMONlib.h, which is pulling that into, you can see here, he's pulling it here, the library EMONlib. So, but it's a cool little library, and allows you to do a simple, just little MQTT or API or whatever you can choose, whatever you choose for doing Home Assistant or whatever other devices you know, home automation, whether you want to feed it straight to Node-RED or OpenHAB or whatnot, depending on who uses what. So yeah, and there, if you have some other devices around, like some plugs, you could. Now I've seen someone do that as well, because there's no voltage on that. They wanted to figure watts. So if you had another plug, you know, a power monitoring plug that was, you know, single, you could plug it in and you can grab the voltage off of there as well. So what else? I didn't really have anything else really. I was just wanting to do kind of the power monitoring and mess around with some of this code and use LuckyStyle's conversion he did for ESPHome on the dryer project. So I don't know if anybody else had any burning questions or different subjects or whatnot, and I mean, feel free to. I know he said last time I talked with him, he said he ordered the new changes. Something they didn't like the spec. He lost the sound. Oh, there it goes. Sounds back. I see. All right, I see it back again, so it may take a little delay there. Okay. Actually, I did have it up and see. I don't know why it did that. It was weird. Maybe it's time to telling me, hey, you're almost at an hour. Maybe you should go, right? So I'll definitely keep y'all posted when the other board posts, and I hope I'll get time to work with actually doing the library on the board, on the new board. He said he ordered. Last I talked with him, he did say he ordered the new. He made some changes in the PCB about where the mounting holes were at. I'm not sure what changes he made. Let's see. I'm assuming he's talking about just where the four mounting holes on either corner. I'm not sure what adjustments he made to those. He said it was too close to it. CT is rated 150 amp, but out volt is 0.33. I would think that would work. He was showing it sounds like it's got a burden resistor in it. I know he talks about several other different mounting. Let's see. There's some other higher amperage. That's gonna be way too big, but we'll see how it. On his current version, let's see. I know he talked about there's another brand. Yeah, there's a different brand here. See, that's still 100 amp, but they're a little expensive. They're a little expensive, but yeah. See, look, that one actually does say point. That's exactly what you were looking for. That one actually does say 0.333 volt. So he actually had. I want to say he's used this one because of the size of the hole was larger to allow a larger size conductor. But you must sever the burden resistor on the back of the board because it has the built-in burden resistor. And you will have to change the calibration a little bit. So I did put my code on the current 2-channel board. But it's a custom little Arduino sketch, and this one's just on the 2-channel board. And so you're only going to have you'll get the voltage and you'll get the amperage on two phases, because this is just on his 2-channel board. But if you just need 2 channels, which that's fine with with a lot of folks, you can get the one he actually has right now. But I think for a lot of people, it would be kind of cool to. I know we talked about the dryer project, but I was actually looking at seeing a lot of people have at least 3, and then all right, Will, take it easy. Have at least 3, and that way you can have your 2 phases for the home. And I know it's different in some countries, so y'all may have to enlighten me on how it is there. And then another phase monitoring, another channel, I guess you'll say, just for like one part of the dryer. So then we have some other folks in other countries. What is actually used in for electric dryers in other countries? Is that you're actually using 2 phases on it, or is it just 1 phase with 240? Or I mean, that's one question I've had for everyone else, that because I've only seen what's here with electric dryers. I'm not sure how those are wired. So no, and Pyro, I don't have any ESP32 cams. I more try to stay towards the power over Ethernet cameras. That's kind of the cameras I like to use. So you have 3 phases in the Netherlands, and they're 240 apiece. So what does a dryer actually just use 1 single phase, or is it using 2 phases, or how is that all wired? Yeah, that's another one. I would like to, you could use for air conditioning as well. That's probably what I'll end up doing. I'll probably change out my 2-channel board and flip to this 6-channel board. And then I'll do something maybe probably for the AC, and then I'll probably buy a couple 20 amp clamps and pick up a couple other little, other stuff, like say we're in the living room or something, to catch some other power monitoring. And another good one is, and I don't have it here, but some people, have solar, and you could actually do your solar stuff. And that was mentioned earlier. So what good cams for Home Assistant from China? Huh. I don't know. I've not really have ordered any cameras like off of AliExpress. I don't know. Sometimes I fear that. Even though I do block internet access from some of the cameras, just never know what you're getting on some of that stuff. So I guess on Amazon, like Amazon Prime, if the camera's really, really just issues with, I can always return it if I had to. It is having a short big time. Buy 3 of them in. All right. Yeah, I know that is the issue. Yeah, it's probably a short in the cable. I'll definitely have to get me a new mic. I do have the desktop one, but it's a lot easier moving around and stuff, and having this little lapel mic. So, all right. Well, I've been at an hour, and I got some family stuff to do, and I just wanted to chit chat, and we did some power monitoring stuff, and show you what some of the cool things maybe we'll cover that again once I get the code going with LuckyStyle, and if he can help me out there and give me a little push. If there's anybody else that's good with doing the custom components over SPI on ESPHome or something else, I mean, feel free to reach out to me via email or Discord or whatnot if you think you could give a helping hand. So would maybe we can collaborate on something there. So, yeah, everybody enjoy Easter or whatever other holidays are out there. What country? Don't want to leave anybody out. And I enjoyed y'all hanging out. Y'all take it easy and y'all have a good day. Oh yeah, definitely a good one, Jim. Let me go. He'll have a good. Enjoy saying bye. So let me. Hey Owen. I don't know if they took him outside or anything like that. Yeah, definitely. We'll bring on Owen. Well, I was gonna use Google to broadcast across the house, but I won't holler that. So no, I don't. I need an automation, right? Like the doc has to call them. I would normally just holler out. I can always use text to speech, right? Let me go see if he's here. So hang on one second.
Where?
Right here. Right here. Okay, hold on. Hold on, we're gonna pull it back up for you. If everybody didn't leave, right? Come back. Come sit. Come up here so they can see you. Oh, you gotta sit up more here a little bit. All right. Look, everybody's saying, "Hey, Owen."
Hey.
You'll make it look. Wait, don't.
What's that?
There you go. So you want to tell everybody, say, you gonna make funny faces. Say, tell them, y'all have a good Easter,
You have a good Easter.
and say, y'all have a good day and take care. What you want to say? Bye. Tell them bye.
Bye.
All right.
The right hand is right.
Yeah, I know it's backwards, huh? It's flipped around. Your right hand's on the left, huh? Your mind is blown, isn't it? So, yeah, definitely. So y'all take care and have a good one. Wait, bye-bye.